I'm a practicing attorney here in Cedar Park since 2005. I've been licensed since 2004. I practice primarily family law with some criminal law and some civil litigation and some small estate planning as well. I became an attorney initially just to help people. I looked around the world that I could see, and at that time I was working in the travel industry, and I was looking around for who was having influence in our world, and many people I saw that were having influence were attorneys. And so I thought, well, I want to be able to help people and have the influence to be able to help people. So the way to do that is to become an attorney. So family law is learned a lot in the trenches. Depending on how complicated your case is, the more experience you want your attorney to have. If you have a very simple case, very little property, and you have agreements on almost every area, then having a less experienced attorney really won't handicap you. But if you have any type of significant property issues, if you have any disagreement with where the children are going to live, what the possession schedule is going to be, how much child support is going to be paid, then you want to have someone who not only has been practicing family law for several years, but has handled quite a few cases. One of the reasons is that as we handle different family law cases and we take those cases in front of the judges in our area, we gain experience knowing how those judges rule in different situations. So it's very helpful to have an attorney who is experienced and has handled multiple cases in the courts you're going to be in. I think it depends on what your case is. You know, someone who's been married for a few years and they don't have any children, well, a lesser experienced attorney should be able to handle their case fine. As long as they've had the training to do family law, they should be able to go into it and handle that case with no problem. But once you start getting into more complicated issues, then you're going to want someone with more experience. And so you should just ask them, have you ever handled a case like this? And find out if they have. We have lots of different types of problems in family law that tend to recur. And so some things you get a lot of experience on, some things pop up with less regularity, but sometimes it tends to ebb and flow as far as the problem. So like maybe you're gonna have third-party parenting issues in one case, and then for some reason it seems like you have 3 or 4 cases in a row that deal with those issues of a non-parent taking conservatorship of the children. And so that has a whole different set of rules that apply, a whole different set of nuances to the case. So you want somebody who's done that before, and some of those things are spelled out in the statutes and in our family code, but some of the nuances of those type cases are found in experience and in the case law. And so you want someone who is well-versed in the area that's important to you. Another thing you're going to need to consider is cost. And so cost is a big deal, especially in family law. Most families that come to me don't have $10,000 to $20,000 to spend on an attorney, but that's often the case of what they will need before the case is over. Again, depending upon the complexity of the issues. Most family law cases with medium contention between the parties, meaning you don't have any real outlying issues, like you don't have a substance abuse issue and you don't have an abuse issue, but you have differences of parenting styles and differences of schedules and things like that where you're having a hard time agreeing. Most of those cases are going to land between $7,000 and $12,000. The less contention there is, the cheaper the cases tend to follow. Many people come to see me and they say, oh, we have an agreed divorce. But when you start asking the specific questions that have to be addressed in a final decree of divorce, especially regarding children, when you start getting to the details, the saying is the devil is in the details, and it is. Those issues need to be addressed, and a lot of time that's where your differences are going to come up. Is what, and those are the little details that have to be ironed out, and that's where you want an experienced family law attorney helping you to iron those details out for the least amount of money possible. You know, I haven't had a lot of clients ask me about my experience as a family law attorney. And so I usually volunteer that information. But I think that that should be a question you should ask anyone that you're thinking about representing you. If I have handled a case similar to that client, I will volunteer if I've handled that type of case and how we handle that type of case and what successes and losses we've seen. I'm very frank with my clients. If a client comes and tells me, I want A, B, and C, and I look at them and say, well, the law doesn't support you getting A, B, and C, I'm going to tell them that. I'm not going to hide the ball and tell, oh, I'll do everything I can to get you A, B, and C, when I know full well that the law doesn't support A, B, and C. And so I think that's something that differentiates our firm from other firms. I think sometimes attorneys, not in an attempt to deceive anyone, but they just have high hopes that they can get the best possible result for their client. And really, the best possible result is not the moon, it's the sky. We don't need to go to the moon. We just need to get the sky. We just need to make your life better when you're done than it is when you walk into my office. And that's really the end goal, right? To have a better grip on your life when everything's done than you do the day you walk into our firm. Establishing trust between the attorney and the client. It's a very special relationship. It's a fiduciary relationship, meaning there is a level of trust between the client and the attorney. And that client has to feel like that attorney truly does have their best interests at heart in every area, because there is no area in family law that is off limits. Your attorney's going to know about your sex life. Your attorney's going to know about your money. Your attorney's going to know about your habits. Attorney's going to know if you have any drug or alcohol issues. Your attorney's going to know if you've had an affair. Your attorney needs to know all that. And you better trust the person that you're putting your world in. And there are some great family law attorneys in our area, and they're all well-versed. I know a lot that are well-versed. There's some that aren't as well-versed, but I hope they're coming along and gaining more experience as well.